That's what's up.
We're back with another episode of Solutions with Soul. Man, I'm so glad you guys are with me. We get to enjoy another episode where this podcast is dedicated to self-mastery through shared wisdom. And right now we're going to share this wisdom with my brother Karlis. As usual, we're in Ashland, Oregon. And I already told you before in another episode that this is a hub of where people come for healing, holistic approach to life. And this is where I met my brother Karlis. And he has a wonderful, fantastic story and a lot of wisdom to share with you guys. I'm going to go ahead and let him, because he can voice it better than I can, share about himself so you can get a taste. Karlis, would you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people?
My name is Karlis, as my brother Soul has said. Born and raised in Boston. Moved to the South when I was a teen. All my life I went through things like I was raised in the streets, so I was up and down and in that zone, juvenile,
Yeah.
learn how to hustle.
Juvenile, delinquent,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I was most definitely that.
Yeah. Them titles.
Yeah, man. I learned how to hustle, learn how to steal. Well, it came natural because I think those were some of the things that were already in my DNA.
Yeah.
Because before I even learned how to do anything, I was stealing G.I. Joes and Transformers in first and second grade.
Dang. Dang.
So
before you even knew what it really was.
Before I knew what it was, man. I was a rebel before I even knew my own name.
Yeah.
So yeah, growing up in and out of juvenile, and then as an adult in and out of prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was rough. It was a rough start,
Yeah. Would you say that that where you were at, it was like a cultural, societal type of thing that you also witnessed as you grew up? Like being in that, the influence around you was that, or did you go search it out?
Oh yeah.
Did you have to go search it out?
It was most definitely a cultural thing. Also, genetic and cultural. Both of them played a big part.
Yeah.
In my in who I grew up to be, and also who I am today.
Yeah.
So yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Because all I had when I grew up to look up to was thugs, pimps, robbers, thieves.
Yeah. And they were the ones put on a pedestal too, because if you weren't doing all that stuff, you were broke.
That's right.
Hungry.
That's right. You showed
walked over. That's right. Like, people didn't pay attention to you.
They didn't. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You were nobody if you didn't have money.
Yeah.
And so, in the black neighborhoods, there were no high-paying jobs that for you to have money. So, to keep up with the Joneses. We hustled,
Hustled. Yeah. And that's interesting because I've been in both, right? I grew up in Fargo, North Dakota, and then I also have friends. Like when I was in Minnesota, I had friends in the suburbs and I was in the hood at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because when you look at the neighbors, there's doctors, CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, right? And they're judges, lawyers, all neighbor to neighbor, but when you're in the hood, it's not like that at all. They might work at Subway. Like they might maybe at the gas station or something like that. 9 times out of
10, McDonald's or Burger King, or Wendy's, or Popeyes, Church's Chicken,
100%. So it's
all
different.
The fast food restaurants or the warehouses.
Yeah. So I could see how the modeling was a lot different.
Yeah.
Role models were a lot different.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah.
But
so man, a life of thugging and drugging and in prison.
Yeah.
Robbing, hustling, drugs, women.
Yeah.
Myself just hustling, just out there doing it.
Yeah.
Even went to boosting, even turned to boosting, and
yeah.
So it was one of those lives, man. forgery, white collar crimes,
Yeah, I did a lot of
checks,
that.
all that
Checks,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Printing your own,
Print
yeah.
my own
Catch Me
stuff.
If You Can, if y'all ever seen that movie.
Yeah.
That's an old school movie. No, I did all that. We
Yeah.
joke, but that's just because it's over.
Yeah, that's because it's over. You know, we can laugh about it now. You know, I don't. You know, I'm not happy about taking other people's money
yeah, or
anymore
condoning that
or
type of
condoning it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you know, when you look back on your life and see where you came from,
Mm-hmm.
see where you are now, and where you came from, it's funny because
Yeah, it
you're like,
is.
dang,
It is.
how was I? What kind of mind did I have? You know,
I tell people now, I'm like, man, if you would have seen, you wouldn't even recognize me.
I don't even recognize me. You know,
what I mean?
so
Like,
yeah.
you don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. I can really relate to that. So yeah, to make a long story short, to get to the meat of it, you know, I was on maximum security in Arkansas, um, in my cell, 8 by 12 cell, and
Yeah.
I was writing a letter, and something took over my body, you know. It
Yeah.
was, but you know, so I say something because you know that's the way, you know, something took over my body because who knows, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that something could have been, I say, my own soul did, or
Yeah.
you know,
It pushed through.
it pushed through, or it could be, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, some other being, you know, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying. But either way, it happened to get me here, you know.
Yeah.
Something took over my body, bro,
Yeah.
and I hugged myself
Yeah.
and I started rocking back and forth and crying like a baby. And I was scared out of my wits.
Damn.
I
During a
know,
period of time where you don't cry, really, you couldn't even
no.
control it.
I couldn't control it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know what was going on. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, man, I couldn't control it at all.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. So, and I was scared, and I started saying, "Please wake up.
Yeah.
Please wake up.
Damn.
Please wake up." Over and over and over. Please wake up. Please
Yeah.
wake up.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I can feel that energy now, you know.
I know. I can tell. I can feel it. I can feel it right now when you were doing it. I was like, damn, is it happening?
Oh, we conjured that energy here, didn't we? Yeah.
He's back.
Yeah. And so that even made me more fearful, you know, because to me, I was awake, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But after a while of saying it over and over, I don't know how long it went for a while.
Yeah.
And after, you know, me checking, I started to check in, like, you know, what does this mean? This mean wake up. And I noticed I'm in a 12 by 8 cell. Everything I own is right here.
Yeah.
You know, I got children. I got a grandson, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, dang. I started crying with myself.
Yeah. You caught up.
I caught up, yeah. I started crying with myself and saying, please wake up with myself, you know.
Yeah. That's so wild.
Yeah.
So there's this thing saying, please wake up within you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're kind of stuck. Like consciously, you were kind of like, what the hell's going on? And then all of a sudden, your consciousness caught up, or your conscious mind caught up with what was going on with you
was
unconsciously.
going on with unconsciously.
That's
right.
wow.
Yeah.
That's wow. Told you this is gonna be a good one, right? That's wow.
So that was like a magical epiphany for me. You know?
Yeah.
And so after that, I started searching for myself, you know.
Yeah.
Naturally, like, okay, what was this all about?
Yeah.
This was bigger than me.
Yeah.
You know, this was bigger than, you know, sticking up any store, or you know, just bigger than, you know, any street stuff that we can even think of, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is big.
The lick, whatever the lick was going
whatever
on.
the lick, because that's all was ever on my mind. That one big lick. I need to hit that one big lick, and I never got
good.
there.
Yeah, you don't get there.
Never got there.
Good luck.
Good luck. Right. You know, and I can't count the times. I don't remember how many times I've been in and out of prison, but I never stayed out over 6 months in my life.
That's wild.
You know,
never
ever. So after that experience, I searched, and then I came across an organization called the Gangaji Foundation right here in Ashland.
Yeah.
And and Gangaji, you know, for the listeners' sake, spelled Gangaji, a spiritual teacher.
Yeah.
And so when I started receiving their material and they became my pen pal. I was writing one of the
Yeah.
main people in this foundation, this organization, and I didn't understand a word I was reading, but it resonated with my heart, you know.
That's wild.
And so I just started reading everything, but their material, you know,
Yeah.
until I got out and writing them and reading their letters over and over and over, the book
Yeah.
over and over and over, you know. And I was just so I had so much ambition to wake up,
Yeah.
you know, like literally really wake up.
Yeah.
And so when I got out of prison, you know, people in the foundation would fly me to the spiritual retreats that they have, silent retreats
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And in these, well, the Gangaji Foundation gave me a scholarship, and the Lila Foundation gave me a scholarship to their retreats as well. You know, this is
Yeah.
Gangaji's partner, Eli
Yeah.
Jackson Bear, his organization, the Lila School of Awakening, which is the Lila Foundation.
Foundation. Would you mind, before we go too far into like how you got it, would you maybe explain to them like what their foundation does, like what their what their whole purpose is?
Yeah,
maybe that would help.
Yeah, their whole purpose is that the world wakes up.
Isn't that wild that he was in the cell like, please wake
please
up.
wake up, please wake up. And I ended up getting in contact with them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And maybe
that you discover the essence of your own soul, the essence of your own being,
the
essence, the truth of your own being, because everything out here that we see in reality, it comes from us. We created everything in front of us. We created ourselves and so it's like this. We are all unique in our own way. And you know, like leaves and snowflakes, everything has its own pattern.
Yeah.
There is no other soul. There was never one before you, and there'll never be another one after you. You know, this leaf, there is never ever going to be another leaf like this one. This one leaf, you know, has its own pattern.
Yeah.
We all have our own fingerprint. So I said all that to say that we are direct representations of the only one, because there is no other.
Yeah. Ooh, that's deep. Actually, that's super deep.
There is
direct representation of the only one.
There's
no other that'll ever be like
ever.
And there is only one.
One. And we exist in this only one, and the only one exists in us.
That's
we
wild.
are all the only one with direct access to the fullness of consciousness and the fullness of all that is.
That's amazing.
You know,
I think about that. That really feels like you can have a lot more direct control over like what's going on in your life as far as how you experience it.
Hey, what's going on? We're going to get back to the interview right after this. If you like what you're hearing and you like the interview that's going on and you want to learn more about us, go ahead and go to thismodernmystic.com, where you can get access to courses, merchandise, and live events that we'll be at. thismodernmystic.com. We'll see you there.
You know what I mean? When you put it that way, like, you know, you're experiencing all these things instead of being a victim to it. You know what I mean? You can actually just kick back and enjoy the ride.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, you can let go, because that's what it is anyway. Full surrender. It's full surrender when you wake up. It's full surrender. So there is no more you there when you surrender and wake up. However, the you that you are is always here, because the you that was born into earth is always here. So that's why vigilance is necessary. Resilience is necessary. You know, keeping an aware eye on our actions, reactions, and responses to the things that are happening in our lives, because we can very easily we can very easily act and react off of traumatic experiences easily from our past, because that's how we move. We are programs. We're robots.
Full robots.
We're robots.
You know? So it's almost like and that's why I said earlier in the conversation when I said, so do you feel like you were culturally you were taught to be this way, you know what I mean? And that's something that I teach in my court when I teach stuff, is that really we were programmed to be a certain way, and then when we start to wake up, we realize that we can actually influence the program.
That's right.
Instead of being ran by the program.
That's exactly right.
There is a programmer above all the programs that can help you become what it is that you want to be.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
And really what you want to be, you got to tap in and ask the question.
That's it.
You know the question, right?
Who am I?
Who am I?
That's it.
You got to ask that question. Who am I?
Who am I? That's it.
And shed all the beliefs that you have about what everybody else told you.
Yeah.
And some of us, we grew up and we heard you're a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You're a punk ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
You're all these things that people are putting into your head. You watch TV. You're marginalized.
That's right, man.
You're bound to go to prison because of you're melanated, you know, all these programs that people tell you all the time.
We believed it.
Yeah, we believed it.
We believed it, and it happened. Once we believed it, it becomes our reality.
It becomes our reality. So who's creating your reality?
No one.
That's the question.
We can point the finger. We can point the finger at everybody.
Everything.
We can point the finger. It was your fault, your fault, your fault. But it's nobody's fault but ours.
100%, because there's only one.
There's only one. There is only one. So all the things that, just say you trigger me, right?
Yeah.
How I wake up is inside that trigger, there's an alarm bell going off. Just like that morning alarm bell when you wake up, right?
Yep.
Saying the same thing I was saying to myself. Please wake up. So if you piss me off and I feel pissed off, that's an alarm bell saying you need to wake up right there.
Yeah. 100%.
All triggers lead to awakening.
Yeah.
All triggers.
100%.
Every trigger that can come up leads to awakening.
Yeah.
If we can sit with it without trivializing and dramatizing or moving on it, you know. If we can sit with it and be with it and just love on it like we love family. Instead of how I was raised to rebuke it and cast it back to hell.
Aside,
you know, but it's gonna keep coming back.
Get down, devil.
I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus, you know. But it's gonna keep coming back. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't cast it out because it works. Nope, I've seen demons cast it out in church. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of Shakti going on in church.
In church, Man, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. It's just, you know, for me, is religion is a stair step to the final truth.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, waking up to your own divineness, your own amness. You know, Jesus was one of those examples for
100%.
One who walked the earth in his own divineness. Buddha, another one, you know.
Yeah.
And each and every individual on earth has the potential to wake up to their own divineness.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I remember you telling me that there's people that work at a gas station that are already awake like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In so many ways.
Yeah.
We sit here and we look at like Jesuses and Buddhas, Sadhgurus, Eckhart Tolles and all them and be like, man, I want to be like, but really there's people walking the planet right now. I've seen them in the meth world.
Yes.
awake as hell, higher than a motherfucker. You know?
And guess what? The thing about that is, you know, in religion, we were taught to judge the right and the wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a heaven and a hell. If you do wrong, you're going to hell. If you do right, you're going to heaven.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, bless the religion that has that, and bless those who need that. I don't put it down or cast it aside, but it controls the minds of the people that want to wake up. How can you wake up when you wake up, you're in a place. When I first woke up, I thought I was going to be like a Jesus or a Buddha. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I realized I still got. Wait a minute.
You're still Karlis.
I'm still Karlis. 5 days later, I thought I lost it. It's gone. Oh my God, I got to get it back. I zoomed out for about a year. I want it back. You know. And then I realizing every experience is just like this one of these leaves. You know, it has its own pattern. You can never get it back when it's gone.
That's amazing. Yeah, it has its own frequency.
Its own frequency, its own pattern, its own life. You know, it comes and it goes, just like the clouds or emotions or anything else that comes and goes. And I can't get it back. And then when I gave up trying to get it back is when I had many more experiences out the blue.
That's amazing because you weren't
I was chasing
clinging to that one thing that's never coming back.
That's never coming back. So I couldn't get another because my mind was stuck on that one.
Oh shit! So what you did is you opened yourself up for an opportunity to receive more instead of trying to chase something that was already dead.
I gave up chasing, period. And I was still within myself and just gave it up, period. And more came just automatically.
Yeah.
Naturally when you're not somebody trying to get something.
Yeah.
Then you get everything you need.
Yeah.
Because if you're somebody trying to get something, then that's separate. What do I need?
Like you're separate from that thing you're trying to get.
Yeah, I'm somebody trying to get something.
But actually, we're all in the same quantum field. We're all connected. It's already here.
Where's the separation?
But if we're chasing it, then we're acting as if it's not.
That's it.
Oh, that's wild.
Where's the separation? There is none.
That's something I've been working on myself real hard. And ever since I've been telling Maeve, and Maeve's have been telling me too, or always reminding me that this is what I like to do. I'm a triple Gemini. I like having conversations, deep conversations that'll maybe plant a seed and spark a fire or something like that.
That's right.
Light a candle and then maybe it'll pass on to other people, right? This is what I like to do, and I kept procrastinating on it. But once I made the decision to be like, nah, I got to do what I'm supposed to do, then people have shown up for me to be able to do what I was supposed to do. And I didn't have to chase them. I just call, hey. And they're like, oh, let's do it. When? Next week? Let's do it.
That's what's up. That's what's
up. So that's it. And then when I'm sitting there trying to chase like money, let's say I'm trying to chase money. I try chasing money.
That's all you
I'm always trying to,
That's all you talk about. You be on.
Always. And then, so after a while, because of discussions that you and I have, we've been talking for a while.
Oh yeah.
Just because you see us talking now,
that's my brother. That's my real brother.
For sure.
We all got the same mama, same daddy, brother from another brother.
Yeah. But so I've been switching my whole mode of operandi to surrendering. And you've been telling me this since I met you. You know what I mean? Like surrendering and really surrendering to, I know the vision that I have, but how I get there, I'm surrendering to that. However it's supposed to get there, I'm surrendering and being open, because I need to be open to catch the opportunities that are pointing me in the right direction.
That's right.
To where I want to go, instead of thinking that I know exactly the best way to get there.
And the thing is, with this surrender, there's nothing else that you have to do.
Yeah.
You just continue to do what you do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And everything from the surrender, everything else is a byproduct.
It is. Too.
Everything.
Yeah. It's wild, actually.
Trust me. Everything that comes as a byproduct is going to be something you like. Something you love, as a matter of fact.
And there's more. I'd love to share more about it right now. My brother and I are experiencing together. And it's so expansive.
It's expansive. I don't know if everybody would understand, but if you want to talk about it, I'm open to. But
we might have to ask the other participants. But there is another thing that I did want to talk about, if you're open to doing so, is our trip to California.
Okay.
So there's this period of time when I was really doing some digging and searching. Me and Maeve, right, my wife.
I remember that.
We're trying to figure out some things, and we're taking psilocybin, right? And it was kind of a pretty steady, and the journeys, the trips were seemed like they were bad. Every time, bad. Like what? And you usually together we have these wonderful trips, but like you said, there was something that needed to be uncovered, right? And so then it got real bad, and then I took a trip with Karlis down to California. He introduced me to some soul family. What's up, soul family? And during this trip, everything came to the surface for me finally. And I was able to see, and I was afraid, like every single fear I've ever had was being presented to me. And even like with sexuality, even with being murdered and committing suicide, all these things. It was like in the Matrix when Neo was at the architects and all those TV screens. And as you were talking, there were honeycombs behind you, and in every single cell of the honeycomb was the possibility of the outcome of what we were doing in that hotel. You know what I mean? Or what could have happened in that hotel room in that experience.
Wow.
I'm talking about every single thing.
Wow,
from me killing myself
God.
to you and I fighting because you wanted to fuck me. All kinds of like all kinds of crazy shit. Like,
Wait,
but most of it ended in death.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But
go ahead.
But for the camera's sake,
Yeah.
did I really want to fuck
No,
you?
no. No, this is a fear. This is a fear. You know what I mean? From being locked up, and you know what I mean?
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And some of it I think is even primal, where it's like, man versus man, like who's the most manly, you know what I'm saying?
Wow,
like that was another one, like, okay, if I have to prove my manliness, but
snap.
and it's a distortion
Yeah.
because of things that I've been programmed to believe and see, and I had to face all of those, and then after all that, we became even close, and I had to come tell you.
Yeah, you told
Remember
me.
that?
It threw me off, bro.
Then, you were like, what? No wonder. Man, I see why you were acting funny as fuck. Right? I was looking at him like, man, what the fuck is this dude saying to me right now? You know what I mean? And then what I had to do is I had to separate for a second and go within me and figure out what the fuck is going on in my mind.
Yeah.
And then I realized how deep and pervasive all these programs from growing up on up, you know what I mean? From running the streets on up, from being locked up on up, all these programs that were running in my head.
Wow.
And in order for you and I to become closer, I had to bring that shit to the surface and even be willing to be vulnerable and share them with you.
That's awesome, bro.
And see that everything was okay.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
That I was actually okay.
Yeah.
And then it helped. It worked.
And one thing I can say about mushrooms, it's one of the psilocybin. Well, all mushrooms. That's why they, you got poisonous ones too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be careful. However, the psilocybin ones, well, mushrooms itself is one of the oldest living organisms on the earth.
On the earth,
billions of years old, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, so the mushroom knows how to get the host where it needs to be. Like the lion's mane is good for neuroplasticities and nerve for your nerves and for memory and all the shiitake is for cancer and all these different mushrooms for this and that. And the psilocybin ones, they're to help you wake up.
Yeah, 100%.
So
it did.
everything every shadow that you need to face for that moment, it's going to bring up. It's coming to the surface.
Yeah, and even then he was like, fear is the gateway, brother.
That's the gateway.
Fear is the gateway. And then when I was telling him, man, I'm looking at all my fears. And at the time when I told you that, you didn't really know what I meant by that.
Yeah.
But you were like, all of your fears? And then after I came back and explained it all, he was like, oh, shit, no wonder. I don't know why I didn't think about that one,
Yeah, for real. But I was saying because of fear, when you feel fear, really any negative emotion, any kind of trigger, man.
Yeah.
You can, especially fear, because fear is the foundation of all of them.
Yeah.
Fear is the foundation of all of them.
Yeah.
Even when you get angry.
Yeah.
It's something you fear.
Yeah.
You get mad because you fear something.
Yeah.
You putting your guards up and security up because you fear something.
Yeah.
So fear is the foundation of all that stuff. So when fear comes up and which you was like, all my fears are coming up, man, all my fears. And I was like, oh crap, dude.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
All you got to do now is surrender.
Yeah. Yeah, and it also helped me because Maeve and I became closer too after that. It was all like a byproduct.
Yes.
Because it was really all my foundational fears were being rocked in that moment. And if I was able to see it, voice it, and be vulnerable and share it, man, and you've been saying that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
You've been saying it.
As we build in our business, there's one thing that we found that everybody needs, and that is capital. And in order to get capital, we have to understand our own financial literacy. So Maeve and I have joined this group in this company that will help you understand your financial literacy, be able to give you some different ways where you could gain capital. And if you're interested in that, and whether it's for business or for personal, you're trying to build your life and you need finances to do so, be sure to hit me up at 612-750-3948 and text finances. 612-750-3948 and text finances.
But that's wild. That's just a little story I had to share.
It's
How close me and this brother are.
Yeah. That's my brother right here, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted you to maybe share a little bit about, I shared how the fear stuff worked for me, and how you got to the point where you decided that because this man, when he sees stuff that's bringing stuff up, he gets excited. Like, oh yeah, come on, let's get it. You know what I mean? So maybe I would like for you to share that.
This is good.
Yeah.
I was riding down the street yesterday, and some stuff came up,
Yeah.
And I was like, this is good. I'm on to the steering wheel, like, okay, let me concentrate on this road while I meet this stuff,
Yeah.
And it was beautiful, bro. I got through it, and the awakening is eternal. The awakening is infinite. As long as we're in form, we're always awakening.
Yeah.
We can get to the point where we awaken so much we'll probably disappear,
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's infinite in form.
Yeah.
So no one has arrived.
Yeah.
If they act like they have, then they fake.
Yeah.
They have not arrived.
There's something else going on. Huh?
Yes. It's always higher, always deeper.
Yeah.
It's always more. There's no plateau in an awakening.
And that's what being infinite beings is all about,
That's
right?
it.
Yeah.
Surrendering to the mystery of what's next.
Yeah, what's next?
Yeah, because we don't know. So we got to surrender to the mystery of what's next. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think even somebody was saying even source, the all, the infinite creator of everything that is, the people assume that is perfect in our understanding of perfect, but is always expanding.
Always.
And that's why we're experiencing all these things that we're experiencing. So it never ends.
God.
Yeah.
All the gods, the Christian gods, the Buddhist gods, the Hindu gods. The truth of God. God exists in multiplicity.
Yeah, multiplicity. Ooh.
God exists in multiplicity.
Yeah.
And in everything that exists.
Yeah.
There is nothing that is not God.
Yeah.
So Jesus is God.
Yeah.
So Buddha is God. Yeah, Muhammad, all you name it. It is God.
This damn plant.
This plant is God. It's life.
Yeah, life.
Life force energy going through this plant, man.
Yeah.
This plant is alive.
Yeah.
And it's proven scientifically that if you spend time with it, it'll blossom.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it'll wither. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, even inanimate things. Like if you spend time and you take care of your house, it'll hold and hold you for as long as you continue to do so. But as long as you let it go, it starts to disintegrate just like anything else. And you see it.
Yeah.
You see it. So everything is like that.
You can live in a house for 40 years without the roof going bad. But you move out the house, nothing's in the house. After 5-10 years, that roof's caving in.
That's crazy. You're sure right.
Yeah, man. Life, sure right. God is all things.
Yeah, because it doesn't need you. It's not being used anymore.
Yeah. And something I was about to say, people try to separate the good from the bad. When I was talking about the right, the wrong, the heaven, there. Yeah. They try to separate the good from the bad,
Yeah.
But when you separate light and dark or positive and negative, just like if you're in the car, you take off that positive, the
car is done.
It's done.
Yeah.
So, but when you put positive and negative back together, it becomes life again.
Life again. That's amazing.
So this is the thing. There is no such thing as positive and negative when life is involved.
Yeah.
Because they cancel each other out to make life.
Yeah.
It's just life.
It's just life.
And it's just like, okay, let me break it down even better. Okay, just say your life.
Yeah.
And my life.
Yeah.
two totally different lives.
Yeah,
You
100%.
know what I'm saying? You got your own pattern. I got my own pattern.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
100%.
saying?
Yeah.
So, okay, so inside your life, you know, you got the your what people would deem as good and bad or good and
Yeah,
evil or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Things I've done.
Yeah, or things that you're doing or
Right
now, you know,
now.
somebody
Yeah.
can look at you and say, "Oh, that's wrong,"
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
But there's nothing that soul's doing that's wrong.
yeah.
It's just you.
Yeah.
There is no right, and there's nothing you're doing that's right.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah,
that you're doing
yeah.
is wrong. It's just you being you.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
it's just energy flowing through me, right?
that's
Like
it. It's you
yeah.
because that energy wouldn't be flowing through you if you didn't have both right and
Oh
wrong.
shit. If I cut one of them out,
If you
I'd just
cut one of them out,
disappear.
you wouldn't
Be
be.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so. But
Yeah.
people judge it as you're doing right and you're doing wrong, and you know,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Actually, that's beautiful.
It's just it's
That
how we were
is beautiful.
conditioned and programmed. Man.
Yeah.
All of this stuff is ridiculous. However,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
if it wasn't like this, it wouldn't this conversation wouldn't be so
wouldn't be
juicy.
going right now.
And it wouldn't be
Yeah.
it wouldn't be good conversation
Yeah.
because we're discovering.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we're discovering these mechanisms that were used to program us into this Homo sapien that we are
right now today.
Yeah.
This black or this, you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
these titles.
All these labels that we have. This
These
male,
labels.
this father, this friend, this whatever you want to call
the
it.
shoemaker, the blacksmith, you know,
Yeah, you know,
all this stuff, you know.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So many different titles, but God exists in all of them.
All of them.
There is nowhere that God does not exist. You can put your attention on anything that's God. Your attention is God.
Yeah.
And this is how God is all knowing, through your own attention.
Flowing through everything.
Everything. This is how God is all present.
Yeah, next to godliness.
Because you can't go over, under, around God.
Yeah, you can't. No.
You are God.
Omnipotent.
Omnipresent, omniscient. You are. You know, so with all that being said, okay, wow, that's a big wow when you think about everything being God.
Yeah.
But if we bring that attention right all the way back in, right here, and know who I am.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Who am I? Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah. That's a good segue because I want to make sure that if people, you know, my people, if they want to see what you're doing and want to tap into what you got going on, that we make sure that we leave them a doorway or a window or something.
Yeah. Most definitely.
To crawl through, you know, to look into.
Yeah. We can do that now if you want.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Way Community is a community that we started.
Yeah.
You know, we all are part of, and the community is working together, you know, and allowing it to unfold as it wants to unfold. It's something brand new that we're not trying to copy someone else's pattern and be like them. We're just allowing Way Community to be Way Community, its own being, its own entity that has its own journey, you know. And we all, with all our individualities, all our moving parts and differences and similarities, we're just here because we are Way. And so it's a song Lindsay Scott sings, The Way Knows the Way. You know, and the song is, you don't have to know the way. The way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way. Trust the way. Feel your way. The way he knows. The way he knows. The way knows the way. You know what I'm saying?
That's super cool.
The Way Knows the Way.
That's the song.
That's the song. That's the theme song. And so The Way Knows the Way.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead.
Yeah, and even when we when Karlis shared this download, right? And then of course I'm all about form and trying to understand what stuff looks like aesthetically, whatever. How is it going to run, operate, and all that? And we had to. It took me a while to understand what he meant by the way is the way and putting our own stuff into things, you know, and just allowing things to happen and allowing people to come in and share whatever aspect of themselves that they want to share.
That's right.
Like I like the form, and I like kind of like the quote unquote business aspect. And it's more just so that we can have things grow and blossom, and in this 3D construct we live in, a lot of times money is about that. You know, money helps. It's an energy that flows through, right? And so that's the part that I take a lot more interest in. But we also have a Sunday evening group.
Yeah, Sunday evening group. Sunday at 6 at the Bellevue Grange
in Ashland, Oregon.
Yep, 1050 Tolman Creek. 1050 Tolman Creek. It's like Tolman Creek and Siskiyou.
Yeah.
1050 Tolman Creek. You can come. Everybody's welcome. Free entry. Potluck. Bring a dish. You know.
Bring a dish,
live music, singing. You know. Guest speakers. You know. And
then pretty soon it'll be on Facebook Live, because it's such a new group that Facebook isn't allowing us to live stream it yet.
Live stream it, yeah.
But it'll change the game after that, so everybody can experience it.
Yeah.
And it's going to grow into a lot more than just this, you know. An opportunity to ask the question, who am I? How do you want to express that in the life that you're living right now? In any way, and you're accepted, whoever you are, however you are, in doing so.
That's right, brother.
Yeah.
And in asking that question, I feel like it's one of the most important questions that we can ever ask ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, because you can ask 1,000 questions in the world. What is it going to get you? You know, all the answers that you get from all the questions that you can ask.
Yeah.
But when we ask ourselves, who am I?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It throws you back like, whoa, who am I really?
Yeah, 100%.
You know, like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Let me sit with this.
Yeah.
You know, and asking that question itself is an eternal question.
Yeah, because it could be even in this moment. Who am I?
Who am I?
Yeah.
You know, it's an eternal question.
Yeah.
And also being in this moment, you know, in this moment, I could be something, right?
Yeah.
But the next moment, who am I?
Yeah.
The next moment, who am I?
Yeah.
I can go deeper, because my last year truth, my truth now is different from my last year truth. It's evolved.
Yeah, it has evolved.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So who am I? It's going to continue to evolve. So imagine see where we are now. Imagine a year from now.
Where
we'll be.
Yeah.
Keep on asking ourselves that question, who am I? Yeah. And seriously doing the work, seriously wanting to do the work. Yeah. Because there's work to be done. We can ask ourselves, who am I, all day, every day. Yeah. But if we don't do the work, then, you know, asking ourselves, who am I, is in vain.
Yeah.
But ask yourself when you know you're ready to do the work. Yeah. When we're ready to face our shadows, our demons, all of that stuff. Yeah. Because brother, they still come. They're still coming.
Yeah.
They're still coming.
Yeah.
They're still knocking on the door. Boom, 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 boom. Loud.
Yep.
Karlis.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
We miss you.
Yeah, we want to eat. So this is the only way they can eat, is if we surrender to the desire of the lower frequencies.
Yeah.
The only way they can eat.
Yeah.
But if we be still, you know, with showing them their energies.
Yeah.
They're not, see, people say bad. They're not, this is lower vibrations.
Yeah.
But in order for them to exist, they got to have good and evil in them too. They got to have positive and negative too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everything is not bad. Like some people say, certain species, all the whole species is evil.
Yeah, snakes.
Come on, man.
A lot of times they say that.
Come on, man. Like the reptilian species is all evil.
Yeah.
How can one species be all evil?
Yeah, they're just doing what they do. It's in their nature, you know.
That's right.
It's all source.
You can't go beyond your nature. You can't go beyond your nature. You're gonna move off your nature, man.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the good thing about it is, well, I like that, because nothing can do anything outside of their nature. If it's in their nature to do it, then why are we mad at it? Like the mosquitoes. We kill, it's just in their nature. That's how they eat.
It's not personal.
Yeah.
It's not personal.
So yeah, man, it's beautiful though.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think when things really started shifting for me is when things happen and I realize that shit ain't personal.
It's not personal.
Even when I work with people and somebody gets upset and mad or whatever it is, there's something going on with them, but the way I react or the way I feel about what's going on with them, there's something going on with me. You know what I mean? And when I turn the light back into myself, because this reflection
Yeah, yeah,
that's out
yeah.
here is because there's something going on with me
That's right.
to even for it to be in the same frequency of
For
what's going on.
you to even get triggered in any kind of way, you know.
There's something
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is how we wake up, though.
Yeah, it
This
is.
is beautiful.
It is
This is beautiful
beautiful.
because I get to see myself.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
even through watching you sometimes.
yeah.
If something bothers me that you have done, or it's somewhere in here I need to wake up.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
guess what? You got your own journey to travel up the mountain.
yeah.
I got my own journey. All paths lead to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
The one that's wasting their time is the one that's running around saying, "Hey man, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Hey man, you're going the wrong way. Hey man, you're going." Or
Going
maybe
from one path to the next.
yeah, or maybe that's their path.
I know that'll be.
They'll be going all the way up the mountain. Hey man, you're going the wrong way.
Tired than a mug.
I can't even judge them.
I know
You know what I'm
can't.
saying? You can't even judge them because each person has their own path. Somebody's path may be to be like I was like, dude, my whole life I didn't get out until I was 43.
Yeah, that's wild.
And I never stayed out over 6 months.
Yeah.
It's 7 years and a half now.
That's nice.
Yep. And it's
changed in months for years.
For months to years. and this deepening is moving at a quantum speed that I can't keep up with. My programming can't keep up with it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm still moving on unconsciously moving on old programming that I'm recognizing daily.
Yeah. You know, if you would have seen him like a year ago, he even looks different. Like for real, he even looks different than even a year ago.
Dude, I was 320 some pounds.
That's wow. You were holding on to a lot. Now you're becoming enlightened for real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, silly.
Hey, I feel it's like that. You know what I mean? Like when you start dropping stuff, then it drops physically because it's a manifestation. Your physical is a manifestation of shit you're holding on to.
That's
you know
right, bro.
Yeah.
That's right. That's it, man.
Yeah. Hey, I know we got a limited time.
Yeah.
You know, and
thank you so much,
man. I really appreciate. I always appreciate these conversations with you, brother. Always.
Yeah, I already know.
Yeah, we're gonna have more because this is awesome. And I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the links and stuff about Way and how you can connect up with my brother Karlis. Also, even on my Facebook, you'll see the posters come up. And I hope this conversation was deep and empowering for you. Maybe it'll plant a seed for you to ask the question, who am I? And help you awaken to your greater self. Thank you very much for joining us today.